Illinois stopped Northwestern 96 to 66. Let's dive into some of the stats and films on how they did it. When you look, a lot of the stats between these two teams were similar. Both had 10 turnovers. Illinois shot 10 of 18 from 3, while Northwestern shot 8 of 16 from 3. Both had a similar number of offensive rebounds. But then there's one big difference. Illinois shot 25 of 38 from 2, while Northwestern only shot 17 of 45. So how did Illinois get such good looks at the rim and the interior? So this is one way that Illinois manipulated Northwestern's defense and their post trap specifically to get good looks at the rim. As you can see here, this is going to be a baseline out of bounds play where Rogers is going to get a post up against Boo Buie. Hawkins comes over here and he brings Nicholson with him, but Nicholson was going to probably come over and trap anyways. And honestly, this is a really good trap by them. You can see them be pretty physical with Rogers, wall up, and he doesn't really have anywhere to go. He stays with it though, and right here you see Hawkins cut to this wing and gives Rogers an outlet. Now as this happens, you see Brooks Barnheiser right here, he's lifting, and now this leaves a wide open path for Guerrier to cut back. Now as the ball gets out, it can be swung to the top, swung to Guerrier, and he does a good job of shielding off Nicholson for the bucket. This is another example of Illinois getting a cut to the rim off of a post touch. So it starts off with Domas getting a switch from Martinelli onto him, and he just starts to drive baseline, and Northwestern is expecting this to be a double team. So as you see this happening, you see Hunger sliding over here to come over and double. As this happens, this means that both Langborg and Barnheiser kind of are playing two, so they're playing in the middle between two guys, and there is a 3-on-2 on the weak side. Guerrier just sees this, and what he does is immediately just cuts to the rim. He eats up the space there, knowing that there isn't really a rim protector at the rim at all for Northwestern. And as that happens, he gets the cut. Barnheiser and Langborg both can't really recover, and now Guerrier has a dunk to do that. It wasn't all twos for Illinois though. They did shoot 10 of 18 from 3, and this is an example of how Hawkins spaced out on the perimeter, taking advantage of Nicholson, who wants to protect the paint. And all this is just a simple pick and pop. So Hawkins is going to come up, set a screen for Damask, and as this is happening, Nicholson's going to be in his normal drop coverage. So he's just going to kind of drop back, keep the ball handler in front, and keep a potential roller in front. All Hawkins does is he kind of just ghosts this almost, and by ghosting means you don't actually really make contact with the screen. We see here he does make a little bit of a contact, but he's more worried on slipping out to the top of the key. So as this is happening, Nicholson is kind of sticking with the ball handler as Martinelli tries to fight over. And this leaves Hawkins wide open for a 3 right here. Simple pass, Nicholson has to recover late, and Hawkins is able to drill a 3. Now, I bring up that last play because this play is another example of how Hawkins spacing on the perimeter allows Illinois to get a good shot at the rim. So this is another baseline out of bounds play. They're looking for Domas basically to curl around and get a shot. That doesn't really happen at all. Passes out to Hawkins at the top of the key. So now as we get set into this set, watch what Hawkins does and where Nicholson has to be at as well. Domas is sizing up his guy, Martinelli, and as he starts to drive here, he gets into the paint. All normal stuff. You see Goody lift, you see Guerrier just kind of gut near the rim, which he'll be a guy to keep an eye on in this play. Look where Nicholson has to be in all of this though. Hawkins is spaced so far at the top of the key here that Nicholson really can't protect the rim, and he is the rim protector for Northwestern. So now as all this happens, Domas gets to kind of a tough fadeaway here, but once again, Nicholson is way out here. Guerrier now has Barry on him, who's like much smaller than him, and Guerrier can just get the putback. And so all this is happening because when the Domas is driving, Nicholson has to stay out on the perimeter because he's worried about Hawkins spacing the floor. Now, we can't go in this video without talking about Marcus Domask and how he just was able to score the ball at will. He ended with 32 points. He was 10 of 14 from 2, 1 of 1 from 3, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and he also added 5 rebounds and 6 assists. I think the thing that stands out with me with this offense is just the simplicity of it and how easy he's able to get to his spots. So this one right here, he's just bringing up the ball, and the ball's not ever gonna leave his hands. He starts coming down here. He's gonna get this screen. He's gonna get this switch from Langborg right here, and now it's just pure ISO ball. He's just gonna go baseline. And one thing that's noticed here, if we call back to the post up before, he knows that this double is gonna come from Hunger right here. So instead of waiting on this and trying to pass and see what happens from there, he just makes a quick decision, and that is just to drive, get to his baseline, pull up, knock it down. And so it's really just simple, right? Like no passes in this, but you wouldn't say it's bad offense. It's getting a good shot by one of your players who can abuse different matchups. So once again, this is just going to be a simple play for Damask to get a good bucket. Illinois brings the ball up. Domask is going to have Bowie on him, and he's just going to start going to work. Gets the ball on the right wing here, sizes up, and look how much space he has. He has this entire half of the court wide open for himself to use. All it's going to be, a couple back down dribbles, and he knows that once again, that there is going to be a double team at some point. That is just what Northwestern does defensively. And so he knows it's going to be coming from the weak side. You see it coming here from Barnheiser. As that's happening, what does he do? He just spins away. It's such a good, simple, good move, good recognition of where the defense is. He knows that Guerrier right here doesn't really have the cutter. He could have Goody on the kick out if he wants, but instead just spins away from the defense, gets to a little floater push shot, and knocks it down. It was just a lot of simple stuff, but good shot making from Noask that Illinois is going to need badly with Shannon out. So that's part of how Illinois just destroyed Northwestern. The defense was also very, very good. And something I didn't really dive into in this one specifically is what they did to take away shots at the rim for Northwestern. But basically, it would just be clips over and over again of Illinois having 1 to 2 people contesting shots at the rim against Northwestern. Illinois absolutely won the interior battle by exploiting what Northwestern does defensively when they are on offense, drawing double teams, kicking out, kicking to cutters, and then also just keeping it simple. Domash just got to work, did his thing. This defense is legit, and this offense seems to have guys that can score on any given night. Next up, they have a matchup against Purdue, which also has a lot of similar qualities. And if you want to check out how Purdue was able to knock off Arizona, click right here.